Good people, what's going on? Want to talk about the Green Bay Packers and the saga that is going on. Number one, there are reports coming out that it sounds like the Packers are potentially getting closer to trading Aaron Rodgers, which is very interesting. But there have been reports that reportedly the Packers are saying that they will need a quarterback in return for Aaron Rodgers, which is interesting because they just traded they traded up in the draft to draft Jordan Love last year. And the consensus is that Jordan Love is not ready to play. Excuse me. Which is not a very good thing because most first-round quarterbacks or quarterbacks drafted in the first round end up playing in their first season. Now, how many games they play is kind of case by case, but you have guys who started as many as one or two games their rookie year, and some guys of our Andrew Lucks of the world that start from day one. But to me, it's a troubling sign that Jordan Love is not ready to play. And when you look at what the Packers did this past season, which they were, I think, essentially a player two from who the heck did they play? The Buccaneers. Good Lord. So they were, a player two from potentially getting to the Super Bowl. They were playing the Buccaneers. I think they ended up losing that game by 4. They had the ball with 3rd and 4 and weren't able to convert it for a touchdown, and kicked a field goal, I think, to go down 7. I'm sorry. So they kicked a field goal, put them down 4, and then they never got the ball back. Brady and the offense just kind of played ball control. They never got it back. But I could only imagine what potentially an offensive weapon, whether it be a pass catcher for Aaron Rodgers, another running back, or a defender, pick your position, what a first-round talent that's in their second year could potentially do for them. Like, who knows? Like, maybe it's the difference between 4 points or 5 points. Like, you just never know. But for the Packers to draft Jordan Love, it just, to me, it's silly. And it just, I don't understand it. Like, Aaron Rodgers, I get it, that year that they, coming off of last year, which was 2019, I get it. Aaron Rodgers didn't have a great year. The Packers overall didn't have a great year, but Aaron Rodgers is still talented and still Aaron Rodgers. But he comes out this year, has a monster season, and wins MVP, and now you're kind of in limbo with him because you have never really done much to give him the support that he needs. So that part is just, it's just so messy all on its own. But on top of it, I think about an interesting, I'm a Detroit Lions fan. So the thing that I think about is, for a team like the Lions, if we were to make the playoffs even and just win a playoff game, like, that would be a huge deal for us. But in the grand scheme, for franchises that aren't like bottom feeders, for lack of a better term, making the playoffs every year, every couple years is not a huge deal for teams that are really good, like, that are used to getting there on a regular basis. And to me, there's a couple tiers. So the first tier is making the playoffs, which is a huge deal for a franchise like the Lions or the Jaguars. Like, that's a big deal. Well, the next tier is like making the Super Bowl, because essentially, winning one playoff game and then going home the next week is, it's not all that exciting if you're not one of the bottom feeders of the franchises, right? And Green Bay is definitely not there. They're a team that perennially is making the playoffs. So the next level is making the Super Bowl on even every couple years. And that's the tier that Green Bay is missing. And a team that is in that mid-tier, where making the playoffs isn't a hurrah celebration thing, that's just kind of what we expected, they are to making the Super Bowl on a regular basis. Like, anywhere you finish in between those two things, like, is a failure. It's just like, man, we missed another opportunity that year. We missed another opportunity that year. So for me, I would kind of lump, a lot of those teams up to where, you have year after year where you're not successful. You don't hit your goals. The goal is to get to the Super Bowl, and at that point, all bets are off. But the crazy part is to think about, for the last, I think Brett Favre got with the Green Bay Packers in 1992. It's 2021 going into 2022 season. So we're talking about 30 years that they have had, for the most part. I mean, they've had Hall of Fame QB play for 30 straight years. There's no break between Favre and Rodgers. No break at all. 30 straight years. And right now, they have 2 Super Bowls to show for it. 2. In 30 years. That is pretty crazy when you think of how rare it is to have, in a 20-year span, just 2 Hall of Fame type quarterbacks within your organization. Just, even if you say, we had John Elway retired in 99, I think. So 99. Even within that time, having Peyton Manning there within that, that time frame of 20 years, that alone is crazy, and rare. So the fact that they've had it for 30 straight years and only have 2 Super Bowls to show for it is crazy. To me, that shows the mismanagement that they have done almost everywhere else. So you nail it at quarterback, which Favre was traded. It was a trade to get Brett Favre, and then you drafted Aaron Rodgers. Those are only 2 decisions. So you did very well on those 2 decisions, and everything else, somehow you can't seem to put it together. They never give Aaron Rodgers a first-round talent as a pass catcher or a running back. Aaron Jones is a mid to late round pick. Devontae Adams, I think, is a second rounder, which, granted, Devontae Adams is phenomenal. He's probably the second or third best receiver in the NFL, but he still a second round pick. And you lean on a guy so much and make him just handle everything offensively to where you aren't giving him much help. Just kind of seems crazy to me. And to me, that's why the Green Bay Packers only have 2 Super Bowls to show for it, because for so long you just don't put anything else around your Hall of Fame quarterbacks, and you expect them to go out and be world beaters every single week. Yes, the A+ guys, the top tier guys, they can do it on a regular basis, right? In a big game, right? Give me in 2 or 3 big games in a year. Give me an A+ performance. Give me 350, 4 touchdowns, and 1 or no picks. They can do that, but to expect that, number one, in a playoff game every single week, every playoff game, that's a lot. That's a tall task. A lot of different things happen in the playoffs. Your possessions are limited, and just the mistakes are amplified because you just can't have mistakes. You're playing the best of the best teams in the league when you get to the playoffs. So it's just crazy to me. If I were the team president of Green Bay, I would fire the GM. I don't really care about the optics of, well, it looks like you're essentially giving Aaron Rodgers control of the franchise. I don't really care. I don't care. I would rather give Aaron some control or perceived control versus the chaos that you have right now. Who has control now? Nobody. It's a mess right now. So if I was team president, I would fire, I think the GM's name is Gutekunst. He'd be gone today. Here's your papers, pink slip. Time to go. Thank you for your service. Appreciate everything. But it's just not a good situation. And to me, a lot of it could have been avoidable. I put most of the blame on the Packers because it's not that hard to give somebody a phone call and say, hey, we're drafting a quarterback. Not a big deal. We just, we wanted to give you a heads up. Cool. Sounds great. That could have been done. You fired his quarterbacks coach, Alex Van Pelt. He really liked him, had a good relationship with him. And let's be honest, if you're in the NFL, for the quarterbacks coaches, they're not doing all that much, especially when you're the quarterback coach of a guy like Aaron Rodgers. You're not putting Aaron Rodgers through strenuous workouts during the week. Like you're not. Like you're going over film, watching that, doing some footwork drills, make sure Aaron keeps the arm warmed up. But it's not game-changing stuff. Like I think about it for the Lions. We had we hired the former quarterbacks coach of the New Orleans Saints, and while Drew Brees was there, and Lombardi, that was his name, and we hired him as our OC. And it was silly because I'm just thinking, I'm like, what do you think he's doing with Drew Brees during the week? Like it's not he's not making Drew Brees better. Like Drew Brees is who he is. This is the NFL. Like this isn't college football where you're literally teaching a guy the game. You're talking a 15, 16-year veteran in Drew Brees. I think he knows what he's doing. So it's kind of silly, but we'll see what happens with the Packers. If they trade Aaron Rodgers, that'd be pretty nuts to see. But we shall see. Only time will tell. So appreciate it. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Thanks for hanging out to the end. I greatly appreciate it. And leave a comment. Love to hear from you. So appreciate it. Peace.